What if the only thing standing between you and the life you truly want is what you choose to do today? Most people don't realize it, but life doesn't change all at once. It doesn't shift in some massive dramatic moment. It changes slowly, quietly, in the small, often overlooked habits that either build you or break you. The things you do when no one is watching, the way you start your day, the thoughts you allow to take root, the decisions you delay, the promises you break to yourself, and the opportunities you ignore out of fear. These are the real obstacles, and they show up daily. You're not stuck because you don't have potential. You're stuck because you've been repeating the same patterns, living on autopilot, waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. But motivation doesn't work that way. It's not a feeling, it's a muscle. And just like a muscle, you build it by showing up, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Somewhere inside you, there's a version of you who is stronger, clearer, bolder. That version is not a fantasy. It's who you really are under the weight of doubt, fear, and procrastination. You don't need a miracle to become that person. You don't need permission. You just need to start improving the things you touch every day. Because if you can change your daily actions, you can change your entire life. So here's the truth. Success isn't built in a day, but it is built daily. That means today matters. What you do today is writing your future. Whether you're climbing or falling, growing or shrinking, it all comes down to the simple, powerful choices you make each day. The good news is you don't have to fix your entire life at once. You just need to start with the pieces you can control, the daily things. That's what this message is about. Small daily improvements that shift your mindset, raise your standards, and build momentum. Because when you stack tiny wins, they turn into unstoppable progress. If you've been feeling stuck, if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. You are capable of more, and deep down, you know it. You're not too late. You're not too far behind. And it's not too hard. You just need to start with what's right in front of you. Stay with this. Because over the next few minutes, you're going to uncover the real things that move the needle. Things you can improve every single day that will lift your energy, sharpen your focus, and bring back that fire you thought you lost. These aren't theories. They're principles rooted in how your brain works, how your habits form, and how real transformation happens. If you want confidence, it starts with consistency. If you want power, it starts with clarity. If you want freedom, it starts with discipline. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be committed. Because when you start showing up differently every day, life starts responding differently. So ask yourself right now, how long are you willing to stay the same? How much longer will you carry the weight of the life you didn't build with intention? You have time, but not forever. The changes you make today echo into your future. So let's make today count. Keep listening, because everything you want is closer than you think. You already know it's not working. You feel it every morning when you wake up and wonder why things haven't changed yet. You feel it in the quiet moments when the noise fades and you're left with that uncomfortable truth that something inside you is still waiting for the right time, waiting for the perfect plan, waiting until you feel ready. But let's be honest, waiting has never moved your life forward. What moves your life is what you do, especially when it's uncomfortable. The greatest trap you'll ever face is the belief that change has to feel good at first. It doesn't. Growth is uncomfortable because it forces you to leave behind what's familiar, even if that familiarity is pain, distraction, or mediocrity. The brain loves what's predictable, even if it's destroying you. That's why the moment you try to break a habit, start a new routine, or raise your standards, resistance shows up. Not because you're weak, but because you're stepping out of the mental patterns you've rehearsed for years. But here's the truth. Resistance is proof that you're touching a boundary. And boundaries are where transformation begins. You want to feel stronger? Start doing hard things on purpose. You want more clarity? Start cleaning up the chaos you've been tolerating. You want peace? It begins when you stop betraying yourself with small choices that chip away at your self-respect. And it starts with what you do daily. Not occasionally, not once in a while, but every single day. You don't need a massive overhaul of your life right now. That's overwhelming, and overwhelm leads to paralysis. What you need is control, even if it's over just 1 hour of your day. One thought pattern, one routine, one small win, because one win turns into two, and two turn into momentum. Momentum becomes belief, and belief changes everything. Every day you get a vote for the person you're becoming. You cast that vote with your actions, not your wishes. And every time you choose discipline over distraction, every time you choose progress over excuses, you're voting for a stronger, more focused, more powerful version of you. The one who doesn't just dream, but executes. You might not see the results right away. You might not feel different after one workout, one early morning, or one uncomfortable conversation, but you're planting seeds. And with every repeated effort, you're reprogramming your identity, not because you're chasing a version of you that doesn't exist, but because you're shedding the false layers that were never really you to begin with. If your life feels out of alignment right now, that's not a signal to give up. That's a call to rise, a call to become more intentional with how you spend your energy, where you place your focus, and what kind of voice you allow to dominate your inner world, because your life follows your focus. And when you focus daily on things that sharpen you, things that demand more from you, things that pull you forward, your future starts to change. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being powerful in your choices, choosing better thoughts, better actions, better standards every single day. You don't have to do it all at once, but you do have to begin. The cost of staying the same is too high. The weight of untapped potential only gets heavier. You're not here to survive the day. You're here to own it, to create momentum, not wait for it. This is how you take your power back, not in one giant leap, but in the small, quiet, defiant choice to improve something today and then do it again tomorrow. Keep going. You're becoming unstoppable. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters consistently. You don't need to fill your day with noise, with endless tasks, or with distractions disguised as productivity. What you need is clarity, focus, direction, the kind that comes when you stop running in every direction and start aiming your energy like a laser. Your time is your life, and how you spend your time is how you shape your future. Every minute you give away to things that drain you is a piece of your life you'll never get back. That's not a small deal. That's everything, because life isn't waiting for you to figure it out. It's moving right now, with or without your permission. The question is, are you moving with it or letting it pass you by? Improving your life doesn't start with some grand strategy. It starts with awareness, with facing the truth you've been avoiding. What habits are silently stealing your potential? What excuses have become so familiar they feel like facts? What are you tolerating mentally, physically, emotionally, that you know deep down is keeping you small? You already know the answers. You've just gotten used to ignoring them. But the moment you stop running from them, the game changes, because awareness brings power. When you see the cost of your inaction, when you feel it, not just in your head, but in your gut, that's when the fire comes back. Not the fake kind that fades in a day, the real kind. The kind that burns through laziness, through fear, through comfort. The kind that forces you to rise. And that rise begins with discipline. Not the kind that feels like punishment, but the kind that feels like freedom. Discipline is the most underrated form of self-respect. It's how you tell the world and yourself that your future matters more than your impulses, that your goals matter more than your excuses, that you are done living below your potential. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Discipline doesn't show up on its own. You build it moment by moment through repetition, and repetition creates identity. The more you do something, the more it becomes who you are. That's why even the smallest improvements, waking up earlier, drinking water, moving your body, eliminating distractions, they aren't just habits, they are declarations. Every choice is a statement about the kind of person you are becoming. You want to change your life? Change what you tolerate. Start setting higher standards, not in theory, but in practice. Raise the bar on how you speak to yourself. Raise the bar on how you show up, even when no one is watching, especially then, because integrity isn't built in public, it's built in private. And the person you become when no one is watching is the person you take into every room, every goal, every relationship. You don't need to get it all right today, but you do need to start showing up like your future depends on it, because it does. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait for motivation to knock. Start where you are with what you have, and do it like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Every small change is a spark. Every spark builds a flame. And if you keep feeding that flame with consistent action, it turns into a fire so powerful, it becomes impossible to ignore. That fire is inside you. Now is the time to feed it. There's a voice in your head that's been too loud for too long, the one that tells you to play small, to stay quiet, to wait your turn. The voice that whispers doubt every time you think about doing something different. That voice is not your truth. It's your programming. It's the echo of old fears, old failures, and old limits. And every time you listen to it, you hand over your power. But here's the reality. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not the doubts that were planted in your mind by other people's insecurities. You are what you choose to become, and that choice is made daily. Growth isn't about perfection. It's about deciding every day that you will not be defined by the person you used to be. Your brain is wired to protect you, not to push you. That's why it fights change. That's why it prefers comfort over challenge. But you weren't built to just exist. You were built to evolve. And evolution requires friction. It requires tension. It requires you to do the very things that feel unnatural at first. Waking up early, speaking up, saying no, starting even when you're scared, following through when no one is cheering. You want to create real momentum? Stop negotiating with your goals. Stop making success optional. The more decisions you leave open-ended, the more room fear has to creep in. Decide who you want to be, and then show up as that person every single day, whether you feel like it or not. Your feelings will catch up, but your identity is shaped by action, not emotion. Every time you do something hard, something you didn't think you had the energy or courage to do, you stretch your capacity. You prove to yourself that you're capable of more. And with each repetition, your standards rise. Your self-respect grows. You begin to trust yourself again. That trust is everything, because when you trust yourself, you no longer need external validation to move forward. You no longer need the world's permission to level up. You become self-driven, self-led, unshakable. It starts with what you do daily, not someday, not when you feel more confident. Confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you build through consistent, courageous action. You're not going to think your way into a better life. You have to act your way into one. And that action starts now, not later, not tomorrow. Now, every moment is an opportunity to rise or retreat, to strengthen your discipline or surrender to distraction, to feed your excuses or fuel your growth. The more often you choose growth, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, what once felt hard becomes your new baseline. That's how transformation happens. Not in one massive leap, but in 1,000 invisible reps no one sees. If you want to live a life you're proud of, you can't afford to keep postponing your greatness. Stop rehearsing failure in your mind. Start rehearsing power, rehearse focus, rehearse resilience, and above all, rehearse showing up, even when it's hard, even when it's messy, even when no one else believes in it yet. You are not behind, you are not broken, you are becoming. But becoming takes work, daily work. And the ones who win, the ones who grow, the ones who rise, they aren't always the most talented. They're the most consistent. Be one of them. Keep going. You're closer than you think. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. You just need to start choosing differently in the moments that matter. The small, silent crossroads where no one is watching. That's where transformation lives. Not in the grand plans, but in the quiet decisions. The moment you decide to get out of bed instead of hitting snooze. The moment you choose to put your phone down and face your priorities. The moment you decide to keep a promise you made to yourself, even when it would be easier to let it slide. That's how you build a life you're proud of. Not through talk, but through action. Every day gives you chances to step into your higher self or shrink back into the version of you that's just surviving. And no matter how many times you've fallen short before, no matter how long you've lived in distraction, you can decide right now to start building upward. The life you want will cost you your comfort. It will cost you your old patterns. It will cost you the temporary high of easy escapes and quick gratification. But what you gain in return is worth infinitely more. You gain strength. You gain peace. You gain the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you didn't settle. And that kind of peace can't be bought. It's earned through daily discipline and honest effort. You won't always feel like doing the work. That's normal. Your brain will always search for the path of least resistance. It's how we're wired for survival. But if you only move when it's easy, you'll never get anywhere worth going. Real growth is found when you act despite resistance, when you feel the urge to quit and choose to keep going, when you feel tired and still show up with heart. That's where your edge is. That's where you start becoming unbreakable. You don't need to see the entire path right now. You don't need to know exactly how it all plays out. What you do need is the courage to take the next right step, even if it's small, especially if it's small. Because those small steps are not just motion, they're momentum. And momentum, once it starts building, is unstoppable. No more excuses, no more waiting for motivation to carry you. It's not coming. What you're waiting for is already inside of you. It's just buried under years of hesitation and fear. Dig it out, wake it up. You've got more strength in you than you've ever let yourself believe. And it's not going to show up until you challenge yourself enough to need it. Stop looking for signs. Stop waiting for the right timing. You are the sign. This moment is the timing. And you don't need to know how it all ends. You just need to stop betraying your future by playing it safe today. Because the cost of staying where you are will always be greater than the fear of moving forward. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're just unpracticed. And every time you choose growth over comfort, you sharpen your edge, you rise, you evolve. And one day you wake up and realize you become someone unstoppable, not because you had perfect days, but because you had relentless commitment. That begins now. Keep going. This is your becoming. Most people wait for their circumstances to improve before they decide to rise. But the truth is, your circumstances will never change until you change. Not because life is against you, but because life reflects you. Your energy, your effort, your standards, your patterns, you are the thermostat, not the thermometer. If you want to raise the quality of your life, you have to raise the standard you accept from yourself. No one is coming to do that for you. Your habits are either building you or burying you. There is no in between. The way you talk to yourself, the way you manage your time, the way you handle your emotions. These things shape your reality more than you realize. And the most dangerous part is how easily they become normal. You get used to waking up tired. You get used to putting things off. You get used to feeling stuck. And soon, stuck becomes your identity. But it's not who you are. It's just who you've been practicing. And here's the breakthrough. If you can practice staying stuck, you can practice breaking free. It starts by improving the micro decisions, the ones that seem too small to matter, because those are the ones shaping your life. The decision to eat with intention instead of out of emotion. The decision to take a walk instead of scrolling endlessly. The decision to shut down negative thoughts instead of entertaining them like guests. You don't rise by chance. You rise by choice. Daily, deliberately, even when it's inconvenient. It's time to stop looking at your goals like distant destinations and start seeing them as a result of daily alignment. Are your actions aligned with who you say you want to become? Because if they're not, then something needs to shift. Not tomorrow. Not when it's easier, but now. Your goals don't care how you feel. Your dreams don't care how hard your day was. They respond to effort, not emotion. And when you make that shift, when you stop chasing feelings and start chasing alignment, everything changes. You were not born to be average. You were not built to blend in. But reaching your full potential won't happen by accident. It takes courage to look at your life and be brutally honest about where you're falling short. That honesty is not self-hate, it's self-respect, because you cannot change what you won't face. And facing yourself is the first act of power. Discipline is an act of love. It's not punishment. It's not control. It's a signal to your future self that you are worth the effort, that your dreams matter more than temporary comfort. Every time you follow through on a commitment, even when it's hard, you're not just building habits, you're building you, a version of you that's grounded, focused, and resilient. No more waiting for life to feel perfect before you begin. You begin, and then life starts to move, doors open, confidence builds, clarity returns, and you begin to remember who you really are. Not the version defined by fear or failure, but the version that was always there, waiting for you to stop settling. This is how it begins. Not with a shout, but with a whisper, a decision, a line drawn in the sand that says, from this moment forward, I will rise. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You need commitment. And if you hold that line, if you show up with intensity and heart, everything starts to change. Not one day, but this day, the only one that truly matters. You already know what needs to change. You feel it every time you go to bed with regret instead of pride. You feel it in the tension between who you are and who you're meant to be. That gap, that uncomfortable space is not a curse. It's a signal. It's your potential trying to wake you up. That tension only exists because deep down you know there's more inside you, more discipline, more power, more purpose. You're not lost. You're just misaligned. And alignment is built one decision at a time. It starts with how you show up when no one else is holding you accountable, when the cameras are off, when the applause is gone and it's just you in the mirror. That's where your real life is built. That's where your identity is formed. And if you want to change your life, you have to change how you show up in those invisible moments, because those moments are the foundation. And a strong life can't be built on a weak foundation. Stop chasing motivation. It's unreliable. It fades. It lies. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It's rooted in your standards, not your emotions. And the more you live by your standards, the more unstoppable you become. Most people lower their standards to match their feelings. But greatness is built when you raise your standards and then demand your actions rise to meet them. Not sometimes, not when it's easy. Every day, you don't need more information. You already know enough. The real question is, are you applying what you know? Are you living what you claim to value? Because if your actions aren't aligned with your values, your life will always feel out of balance. Integrity isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest, brutally honest, about where you're falling short and then doing something about it. You can't build a powerful life on a foundation of excuses. Every excuse is a lie. Your fear tells to keep you comfortable. And the more you listen, the more you shrink. But the opposite is also true. Every time you choose action over avoidance, every time you take the harder path instead of the easy way out, you expand, you grow, you strengthen your identity as someone who follows through. That's where confidence comes from, not from talking yourself up, but from proving to yourself over and over that you do what you say you will, that your words and actions are aligned, that your goals are not just hopes, but priorities. Real confidence isn't loud, it's quiet. It's built in the dark behind closed doors through repetition, consistency, and sacrifice. You don't need to overhaul everything today, but you do need to stop pretending that change will happen on its own. It won't. Your future is created by what you tolerate today. If you tolerate chaos, distraction, laziness, that becomes your life. But if you draw a line and say no more, if you reclaim your focus and protect your time like it matters, because it does, everything begins to shift. You are not the version of yourself that settled. You are the version that keeps getting back up, the version that refuses to be defined by the past, the version that turns pain into power and fear into fuel. Every moment you choose growth over comfort, you take another step into your potential, not in theory, in reality. This is how you rise, one aligned, relentless day at a time. Keep pushing. You're not done yet. There's a version of you that exists beyond the doubt, beyond the hesitation, beyond the patterns you've been stuck in. It's not a fantasy. It's not a distant dream. It's real, but it will only become your reality if you stop waiting for external change and start demanding more from yourself right now. Nothing changes until you do. Not just once, not just when it's convenient, but every single day in the moments that feel boring, repetitive, or hard. Those are the moments that build you. Discomfort isn't the enemy. It's the doorway. Most people run from it. They avoid the difficult conversations. They ignore the hard choices. They numb the restlessness with distractions that feel good but steal their future. But you're not most people. You're here because something inside you refuses to settle. Something inside you still believes in your own power, even if you haven't accessed it in a while. That belief matters. That spark is enough to start a fire if you feed it. If your life feels overwhelming, it's not because you're incapable. It's because you've been carrying things that don't belong to your future. Old habits, old stories, old fears. You can't elevate while clinging to the weight of who you used to be. Growth requires subtraction just as much as it requires effort. Let go of what no longer serves you. The excuses, the distractions, the version of you that always puts things off. Every time you release something that limits you, you make room for something that builds you. You don't need to be the best. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be better than you were yesterday. Not in everything, but in something, a better choice, a better thought, a better standard. That's how confidence compounds. That's how strength is built. One intentional step forward, even when no one sees it, even when no one claps for it. Because this isn't about proving anything to anyone else. It's about becoming someone you respect. When you live with integrity, when your actions match your aspirations, peace follows. Not comfort, not ease, but real grounded peace. The kind that lets you sleep at night because you know you didn't run. You didn't hide. You faced the hard things. You showed up. And Every time you do that, your internal voice, the one that doubts, the one that hesitates, it starts to quiet down because you're proving it wrong. This is not about hype. It's about ownership, owning your time, owning your choices, owning your energy. You can't outsource that. You can't blame your way into a better life. Everything shifts the moment you stop pointing outward and start pointing inward. That's not weakness. That's the ultimate power because it means you're in control. You're not a victim of circumstance. You're the architect of your direction. So start designing like it matters. Every hour, every habit, every decision. Guard your mornings, own your thoughts, move your body, choose your words. These aren't just self-help phrases. They're tools that when used daily, carve a new path. One that leads you away from the life you're tolerating and toward the life you were built for. This is your edge, your moment, your chance to step off the treadmill of repetition and enter into the rhythm of evolution. All it takes is a decision, not a dramatic one, but a consistent one. And once that decision is made, everything around you will begin to shift to match the energy within you. Keep going. You're not chasing change. You're becoming it. Every day you wake up, you're handed another chance to take control, not just of your schedule, but of your identity. Because how you live each day is how you shape who you are. You can either continue running on autopilot, repeating the same habits, reacting to the same triggers, stuck in the same cycles, or you can interrupt the pattern, disrupt the drift, choose with intention. And that choice begins the moment your eyes open. The first voice you hear in the morning isn't just a thought, it's an invitation to either lead your life or let your life lead you. Most people wake up and immediately reach for distraction. They scroll, they compare, they react. They allow the world to hijack their energy before they've even decided who they want to be that day. But that's not how you build greatness. That's how you stay trapped in survival mode, constantly chasing clarity you keep giving away. You want to build a powerful life? Start by protecting your mornings. Before the world gets a piece of you, give something to yourself. Stillness, movement, focus, intention. You don't need hours, you need ownership. Ownership over your first thoughts. Ownership over your attitude. Ownership over your direction. Because when you start your day by aligning with your purpose, the rest of the day begins to serve you instead of control you. And it's not just mornings. It's the way you speak to yourself in the quiet moments. It's the way you respond when life punches back, because it will. No one escapes difficulty, but you're not meant to. You're meant to face it, to let it shape you, sharpen you, strengthen you. Pain is not the problem. Avoiding it is. Avoiding challenge robs you of growth. Avoiding discomfort keeps you small. You don't rise by running from the hard things. You rise by walking straight into them with your eyes open. Start seeing your daily choices as votes for the person you're becoming. Every choice adds up. And over time, those small, unseen decisions compound into identity. You either build discipline or you build regret. You either build clarity or you build chaos. There is no neutral ground. Life is always responding to your direction. And if you don't give it one, it will choose for you, usually based on your past, not your potential. That's why you can't keep living like you have unlimited time. You don't. The clock is ticking whether you move or not. And while you can't control how long you have, you can control how deeply you live, with focus, with intensity, with purpose. You don't need more time. You need more presence, more urgency, more non-negotiable commitment to becoming the kind of person your future needs you to be. And that person, they're not built through inspiration. They're built through repetition, through showing up on the days that feel ordinary, through doing what needs to be done without needing hype or permission. That's what separates the ones who talk from the ones who transform. It's not about having more potential. It's about taking more responsibility. Responsibility to grow, responsibility to act, responsibility to stop blaming, stop waiting, and start owning your life in full. And when you do that, something shifts. The weight doesn't get lighter, but you get stronger. The obstacles don't disappear, but you become more resilient. And the life you've been dreaming of stops feeling distant because it's being built right now, one powerful, intentional day at a time. Keep going. Your future is listening. There's a powerful truth you must accept. Your mindset is the architect of your reality. It shapes everything you see, everything you feel, everything you create. It's not just about thinking positively. It's about training your mind to respond differently to the challenges that come your way. Because the same situation can destroy one person and empower another. The difference lies in how they interpret it. And you have the power to change that interpretation, to choose perspective over panic, to see setbacks as setups, to turn doubt into determination. You have to become relentless with your thoughts, not in a way that's exhausting, but in a way that's purposeful. A thought is just a spark. It only becomes fire if you feed it. Feeding doubt means feeding fear, weakness, and paralysis. But feeding belief means fueling courage, resilience, and momentum. When you start protecting your mind like you protect your body, by guarding what you consume, what you focus on, and what you tell yourself, you unlock an unshakable foundation for growth. Your mind will try to convince you to quit. It will whisper reasons to stop, to settle, to stay small. This is natural. The brain is wired to avoid discomfort. But the same brain can be rewired with practice, with intention. Every time you push through the mental barriers, you strengthen neural pathways that build courage and focus. This is not magic. It's science. Change your thoughts, change your wiring, change your life. You must refuse to be a slave to your feelings. Feelings are signals, not commands. They rise and fall, often without warning. The moment you treat feelings as orders, you give away your power. Instead, learn to observe your emotions with curiosity and compassion. But don't let them dictate your actions. You have the choice to act with purpose, even when your heart is heavy or your mind is chaotic. That choice is freedom. When you realize this, you take back control. You stop waiting to feel ready and start taking action despite uncertainty. Because waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect moment, or the perfect sign is a trap. The perfect moment rarely arrives. Life rewards those who act anyway, who cultivate courage by choosing it daily. This is how transformation happens, not in bursts of inspiration, but in steady, consistent effort when no one else is watching. Your thoughts are the soil where your habits grow. Nourish them carefully. Weed out the negativity, the comparisons, the self-judgment. These are the toxic seeds that choke potential. Replace them with affirmations rooted in truth. Truth about your resilience, your capacity, your worth. You are capable of more than you realize, but first, you must believe it. Not just say it, but truly believe it until it shapes your actions. This is the moment to stop playing small and start owning your mental space. The battles you fight in your mind every day are the real wars. Win those and everything else becomes possible. You don't need a perfect mindset to begin. You need the courage to start shaping it with every choice, every thought, every breath. You are not a victim of your past or your circumstances. You are the author of your inner world, and the power to rewrite that story lives inside you, waiting to be claimed. Claim it now, because your mind is the gateway to your destiny, and when you master it, you master yourself. That mastery becomes your greatest strength, the foundation for lasting change, for unstoppable momentum, for a life transformed by your own unwavering will. Your energy is your most valuable currency. How you invest it determines the quality of your day, your relationships, and ultimately, your life. You might think energy is something that just happens. Some days you have it, some days you don't. But energy is a resource you can manage, protect, and grow. The question is, are you spending it wisely, or are you letting it leak away in distractions, worries, and meaningless habits? Every choice you make either drains your energy or fuels it. When you scroll endlessly through things that don't inspire or uplift you, you're spending your energy on noise. When you surround yourself with negativity, whether from people, media, or your own thoughts, you're draining your reserves before the day has even begun. But when you choose what to focus on, who to listen to, and how to move your body, you start controlling your energy instead of letting it control you. This is about respect. Respect for yourself and your time. Respect for the limited energy you have and the potential that lies in it. When you protect your energy, you're not being selfish, you're being strategic. You're building a reservoir of strength that you can draw on when challenges come, because challenges will come. The difference isn't whether you show up to meet them with drained batteries or a full charge. Your mind and body are deeply connected. Neglect one and the other suffers. This is why sleep isn't optional. It's essential. When you sacrifice rest, you rob yourself of clarity, focus, and willpower. No matter how motivated you are, exhaustion will erode your ability to act. Taking care of your body through movement, nourishment, and recovery isn't a luxury, it's a foundation. It fuels the fire inside you and sharpens your mental edge. You've probably heard the phrase, you are what you eat, but it's even broader than that. You are what you feed your mind, your heart, and your soul. Feeding your spirit means engaging with ideas, people, and activities that lift you up rather than weigh you down. It means choosing inspiration over despair, growth over stagnation, connection over isolation. When you feed yourself well, your energy multiplies. It's also about boundaries. Saying no isn't weakness, it's power. Saying no to things that drain you creates space for what energizes you. You have a limited amount of energy, and protecting it requires courage. Courage to disappoint others sometimes, courage to prioritize yourself, courage to stand firm in what you need to thrive. Boundaries are not walls. They are the gates that guard your potential. Recognize that your energy ebbs and flows, and that's okay. But don't let low energy become an excuse for giving up. Learn to manage your energy cycles with kindness and strategy. Rest deeply when you must, but always come back to action. The most successful people don't have endless energy. They have mastered the art of using what they have intentionally and fully. This is your call to honor your energy, to treat it as the precious resource it is, to protect it fiercely. When you do, you open the door to consistency, creativity, and courage. You become unstoppable because you're no longer fighting your own exhaustion. You're harnessing your full power. Every step you take with energy behind it builds momentum. Momentum that propels you past doubts, distractions, and setbacks. Momentum that creates breakthroughs. You are capable of extraordinary things, but only if you commit to fueling yourself well. Today, decide that your energy matters, that you will guard it, nurture it, and invest it in what truly moves you forward. This is how you create a life not by chance, but by choice. A life where your energy is your ally, your fire, your compass. You hold the power. Choose wisely. Choose strength. Choose to rise. The way you manage your time is a direct reflection of how much you value yourself. Time slips through your fingers like sand, and once it's gone, it can never be reclaimed. Yet, so many people live as if they have endless hours to waste. But the truth is, time is the most democratic resource we have. It's given equally to everyone, but only used wisely by a few. How you spend your minutes today is how you build your future. Every moment you allow to drift by without purpose is a moment you lose from your potential. It's easy to fall into the trap of waiting for motivation, waiting for the right moment, or waiting for something external to push you forward. But waiting is the enemy of progress. Waiting lets your life happen to you instead of you happening to your life. To break free, you must take ownership of your time fiercely. You must treat every second as valuable because it is. Focus becomes your greatest weapon against time wasted. In a world full of distractions designed to steal your attention, the ability to focus is rare and precious. When you focus, you multiply your impact. When you scatter your attention, you dilute your energy and your results. Practice saying no to distractions, not just the big obvious ones, but the subtle ones too. The endless notifications, the mindless scrolling, the small tasks that steal time without adding value. Protect your attention like your life depends on it, because it does. Time management isn't about filling every second with activity. It's about filling it with purposeful action. It's about aligning what you do with what you truly want. The most successful people don't just work hard, they work smart. They prioritize the tasks that move them closer to their goals, and they ruthlessly cut out what doesn't. You have the power to do the same. Stop allowing urgency to masquerade as importance. Start asking yourself, is this the best use of my time right now? Every morning is an opportunity to decide how your day will unfold. Will it be scattered and reactive or focused and deliberate? Planning isn't just about lists, it's about setting your intention. When you take a few moments to map out your priorities, you give your day a direction. You reduce the mental noise, you create clarity, and clarity is the foundation for productivity and peace. Understand that time is not your enemy, it's your canvas. What you create with is what defines your life. If you feel overwhelmed, it's not because there isn't enough time. It's because your energy and focus aren't aligned with your priorities. Align them, and time expands. You find pockets of productivity and moments of flow that make you unstoppable. Remember, the clock is ticking. regardless of your action or inaction. The question is, will you be the person who looks back with regret, wishing for more time, or the person who used every moment to build, grow, and advance? You get to decide that today. No one else. The power lies in your hands. Use your time wisely and you build momentum. Waste it and you build regret. This is your call to master time, not be mastered by it. To live not in a constant rush, but in purposeful motion. To honor every minute as a gift. Because when you manage your time with intention, you reclaim your power. You become the architect of your destiny, not a prisoner to the clock. Take control now. Make each moment count. Your future self is waiting. Will you give them a life built on purpose or a life lost in distraction? The answer begins with how you choose to spend your time today. Choose well. Choose power. Choose to rise above the noise and live fully awake. Your habits are the invisible architecture of your life. They shape your days, your actions, and ultimately, your destiny. You may not notice them because they happen quietly, beneath the surface, but their power is undeniable. Good habits build momentum, create consistency, and transform small efforts into extraordinary results over time. Bad habits, on the other hand, chip away at your potential, steal your energy, and keep you trapped in cycles of frustration and stagnation. The truth is, change doesn't happen in moments of inspiration. It happens in the small, often unseen choices repeated day after day. The decision to wake up early, to say no to distractions, to push through resistance, all these build the habits that become your identity. When you say, I'm the kind of person who shows up, or I'm the kind of person who takes care of myself, you're not just making a statement, you're creating a blueprint for your future self to follow. Breaking bad habits isn't about willpower alone. Willpower is a finite resource. It runs out when you need it most. Instead, you need systems. You need to redesign your environment and your routine so that the right actions become the easy ones. Make the good choices unavoidable and the bad choices inconvenient. When you do this, you stop relying on motivation and start relying on structure. Structure that carries you forward even on the days you feel weak. But don't confuse structure with rigidity. The most powerful habits are flexible enough to adapt, but strong enough to keep you moving. They create a rhythm that supports growth, not stress. This rhythm becomes a source of security in a chaotic world, a steady current beneath the unpredictable waves. Your habits are the roots that anchor you when storms come. They keep you grounded in your purpose. Remember, habits are not just actions, they are promises you make to yourself. Every time you follow through, you build trust with the person you're becoming. This trust is a powerful motivator. It creates a positive feedback loop where success breeds more success. When you honor your commitments, even the small ones, you reinforce your confidence and resilience. You prove to yourself that you can overcome resistance and that your goals are within reach. It's also essential to be patient with yourself. Transformation isn't linear. There will be setbacks and slip-ups, but those don't define you. What defines you is how you respond. Do you give up or do you recommit? Every day is a new opportunity to choose differently, to rewrite your habits, to reshape your life. The journey of improvement is a marathon, not a sprint. As you begin to master your habits, you begin to master your life. You free yourself from the chaos of willpower battles and start living with intention. You become the creator of your own momentum, the architect of your future. Small habits compounded over time create extraordinary change. And that change starts now with the choices you make this very moment. Commit to the daily disciplines that honor your dreams. Build habits that fuel your growth and align with your deepest values. Protect those habits fiercely, for they are the bridge between who you are today and who you are destined to become. You have the power to build the life you want. Not someday, but today. Start now. Be consistent. Keep going. Your future self will thank you. Your mindset is the lens through which you view the world, the filter that colors every experience, every decision, every challenge. It's more than just thinking positively. It's about embracing a mindset that fuels growth, resilience, and unwavering belief in your ability to change. Your mindset either changes you to the past or liberates you to create the future you deserve. The question is, which will you choose today? Too often, people live trapped in limiting beliefs, telling themselves stories about what they can't do, who they are, and what they're capable of. These stories become self-fulfilling prophecies, quiet prisons built from fear, doubt, and insecurity. But the power to rewrite those stories lies within you. The moment you challenge a limiting thought, you crack open the door to possibility. The moment you choose to see failure as feedback instead of defeat, you step into growth. Growth mindset means knowing that your skills, your intelligence, your potential are not fixed. They are malleable. They can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. This shift in thinking changes everything. When you believe you can improve, you start to take actions you would never have tried before. You embrace challenges as opportunities to learn. You see setbacks as temporary and necessary parts of progress. And in doing so, you build a mental fortress of resilience that no external force can break. Your thoughts are the architects of your reality. What you focus on expands. If you fixate on your flaws, your mistakes, and your fears, those become the building blocks of your experience. But if you focus on your strengths, your progress, and your potential, you construct a life filled with purpose and possibility. The power of your mindset lies not in ignoring problems, but in choosing to see solutions. It lies in deciding that your past does not dictate your future. This transformation requires courage. The courage to face uncomfortable truths and the courage to let go of old identities that no longer serve you. It means being honest with yourself about where you are and where you want to be without judgment or shame. It means embracing vulnerability as a source of strength, not weakness. When you adopt this mindset, failure becomes a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. Surround yourself with voices and influences that support this mindset. The people you listen to, the books you read, the environments you engage with all shape your beliefs. Choose influences that challenge you to grow, that remind you of your power, and that inspire you to push beyond your comfort zone. Protect your mind like you protect your energy and your time. Your mindset is a daily practice. It needs to be nurtured, trained, and reinforced. Every morning, remind yourself of your worth. Challenge the negative whispers that creep in. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small. Speak to yourself with kindness and conviction. The dialogue you have inside your head shapes the world you live in. The transformation you seek begins with a single shift in how you think. When you choose to believe in your capacity to grow, you unlock an unstoppable force within. You become resilient in the face of adversity, patient in the process of change, and relentless in the pursuit of your goals. This mindset fuels action, sustains motivation, and creates the foundation for lasting success. You have the power to change your story by changing your thoughts. It starts here, in this moment, with the commitment to cultivate a mindset that supports your highest vision. Stand firm in this belief and watch how your life begins to bend toward greatness. The journey is yours to command. Embrace it with the mind of a warrior and the heart of a champion.